YouTube is still the best option out there for content creators at this moment. And you know what? There might come a day where YouTube really does just screw this all up, but I really, really doubt that's going to happen anytime soon.
For ourselves, it continues to get worse to the point where we don't think that we can continue to even exist.
There are a lot of advertisers who want more control over where their ads appear. When are Google going to get their act together and stop making money out of vile hatred?
YouTube, once again, screwed up communication. They're failing at something very, very important.
This could be the beginning of the end, if not the end.
When I go on YouTube, my friends go on YouTube, they don't see ads on any of my videos. They don't see ads on many of my friends' YouTube videos as well.
Man, I was so wrong. This is one of those times where I'm not afraid to admit that I spoke too soon. So unfortunately, the inevitable has finally happened. As you saw in the beginning of this video, I mentioned a while back that I did not think that this whole end of world scenario for YouTube was going to happen anytime soon. And as it turns out, I was very, very wrong.
Your little free money train is over, YouTuber.
Before I talk about anything else, I just would like to mention that I do believe that these brands have the right and a very, very big say in how content is produced and what should be in it, but usually when they're directly supporting a product or a project. I watched a video earlier today. It was an interview with Rod Serling from the original Twilight Zone, talking about how sponsors can kind of take things over and they reshape things to be as squeaky clean as possible.
In this particular show, though, by the time they had finished taking Coca-Cola bottles off the set because the sponsor claimed that this had Southern connotations, suggesting to what depth they went to make this a clean, antiseptically, rigidly acceptable show.
The reason YouTube blew up so much, in my opinion, the reason it exploded as much as it did, is because people like myself were allowed to come on here and do what they wanted. And a certain lucky few of us were able to do what we wanted for a living. And that is a very rare thing. There are a lot of people out there that really hate the fact that YouTubers are allowed to make a living doing what we do. And for certain YouTubers, I can kind of understand the annoyance, I get it. For instance, myself, I play Gary's Mod, and that's my job right now. I never wanted that to be my job forever. I just figured that getting to that point on YouTube would help me open up a couple more doors in my life. It genuinely has. It's brought me quite a lot. These brands are always going to have a certain amount of control over us content creators, whether we're working in television, in movies, or on the internet. It's always going to be that way. Try to think of yourself spending millions and millions and millions of dollars to push your product out there, and all of a sudden a news outlet just comes out of the woodwork with a pretty shitty agenda, starts accusing you and your company and all that money you spent on advertising of being racist. They say that there's no such thing as bad publicity. Tell that to United Airlines, okay? I mean, come on. So you can see how obnoxious and crappy that would be, because there are a lot of really terrible videos on YouTube that feature things that really shouldn't be featured. Really, really, really gross stuff. And then there are people that are simply comedians. They're just making jokes. They're talking about politically related subjects, or they'll talk about religion. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's where things are getting a little bit stupid. I mean, for goodness sakes, last night I was watching American Dad, a Fox network show for the first 10 or so seasons of its life, and that's one of the most violent and inappropriate TV shows, aside from South Park, obviously, aside from South Park, that I have seen on a network that is aired for free on public television. That is insane that they allowed that crap. I mean, yes, there are a lot of YouTubers out there with incredibly controversial humor. They're very potty-mouthed. They make fun of a lot of touchy subjects, like myself included in that example there. It's basically this idiotic mindset of, this one person is doing something bad, I'm going to punish you all. And I don't understand that logic, and I think none of us really understand that logic. It doesn't really make any sense. It sucks that I have to come on here and make a video about how YouTube is kind of ending. From what we're seeing right now, behind the scenes, from what us YouTubers are seeing, the golden age of being a creator, at least on this website, is kind of screaming to a halt. However, this isn't to say that being an internet creator is just going to die out. We will always find a way to get our stuff out there. There's always a bigger fish. There's always something new that we're going to jump to. I mean, look at Newgrounds and Albino Black Sheep and stuff like that. They were there from the beginning. And then YouTube came along and sort of streamlined it and brought it to a bigger audience. And it had a funny name, so we started using it. But always remember, there are the other websites that are out there to serve as an alternative. For instance, Vidme. I know in that commentary that I showed at the beginning of the video, it was about Vidme and YouTube and how I believed that YouTube was doing fine for all of the dumb stuff it would do, and Vidme didn't really have a monetization platform yet, and how being a creator, I felt like it was still better to go with YouTube for the stability and the bigger audience that you could potentially reach. Vidme is doing great work. I think they're doing fantastic. They're very adamant about not allowing people to come in and tell their creators what they can and cannot create. I feel like there are obvious limitations to that, but they're doing a very good job regardless. Well, there you have it. It's kind of a wild, depressing time here on YouTube for a lot of us creators. I don't want people to think less of us because we're scared, really. A lot of us are just genuinely kind of freaked out. People like myself, especially, that only kind of make things work. So like I said, those people out there that don't really like that we are allowed to do what we do, just remember that some of us didn't expect this to happen. And when something like this is thrown into your lap, you think to yourself, well, I'm 18, 19 years old. Why not give this a try? Why not see where I can take it? And I've seen where I can take it. And there's nothing wrong with being scared of losing your job, no matter how lazy or stupid or easy that job might seem. It's our livelihood. It's what we do. It's what we love to do. We live for creating. That's how it works with us. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. I will leave it at that. I won't bug you guys anymore. I'm looking at the recording right now, and there's 20 minutes of me talking, so we'll see what the video ends up being. But always remember, if you even somewhat enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like, and if you really enjoyed the video, then consider subscribing. Also, last reminder, Vidme, all my social media down below, and I'll be seeing you guys. I'll be seeing you real soon.